The next counting method we are going to discuss is the Borda count method. Now this method involves assigning points within a preference schedule to each cell within the table. Now how you determine the points awarded, well, look here, if there are 4 candidates, whoever's in first place gets 4 points. So if we look down here, this first column, Dwight is in first place, so he would get 4 points. Who's ever in second place gets 3 points, so Jim would get 3 points. Who's ever in third place gets 2 points, so Michael would get 2 points. And then who's ever in last place gets 1 point, and so that would be Pam. Now that's if you're dealing with 4 candidates. Now let's say you're dealing with 5 candidates. Well, if you're dealing with 5 candidates, whoever's in first place would get 5 points. Who's ever in second place would get 4 points. Who's ever in third place would get 3 points. Who's ever in fourth place would get 2 points. And whoever's in last place would get 1 point. Let's say you're only dealing with 3 candidates. If you're dealing with 3 candidates, who's ever in first place would get 3 points. Who's ever in second place would get 2 points. And whoever is in last place would get 1 point. So those are just some of the variations you may see while you're doing your homework assignment. But here we are talking about 4 candidates. So that's the first thing, determining the place value and how many points you get for being in that particular place. Now the second step is you multiply the number of points by the number of votes for each place. So if we look down here at this preference schedule, Dwight, he's in first place, so he gets 4 points. But what we have to remember is this column, this represents 14 people who voted exactly the same. So there's actually 14 people who voted him first. So what we need to do is multiply the number of points by the number of votes for each place. So yes, Dwight gets 4 points, but there's 14 people who voted him first. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this number, 14, and multiply it by the 4, which is 56. And then we just move down the column, the same thing. Jim, he is in second place. So second place, under the Borda count method, you get 3 points for being in second place. And there's 14 people who voted him in second. So we're going to go 14 times 3 equals 42. And Michael, you know, he's in third place, so he gets 2 points, and there's 14 people who voted him that way, so we're going to go 14 times 2 equals 28. And then lastly, Pam, who is in last place, gets 1 point for being in last place, but there's 14 people who voted her in last place, so we're going to go 14 times 1, which is 14 points. Now, then you'll just go ahead and fill in each one of these cells in the same manner, and we're going to do that in just a second. But let's move down into step number 3. After we multiply the number of points by the number of votes for each place, we fill in each one of these cells. Then what we do is the points are added up for each candidate. So then we go around and every single point, so Dwight has 56 points here, he's going to have points here, points here, points here, and points here. We add up all of those points and we come up for a total for Dwight. And then we're going to do the same for Jim, wherever Jim is. We're going to add up all of his points in the cell, the same for Michael, the same for Pam. And then finally, the candidate with the most points wins. So that's basically the Borda count method. So let's go ahead and take our favorite office character preference schedule, and let's just work out the problem and see determine who the winner of this election would be. So we already did the first column, everything's here. So let's go ahead and work on the second column. So we still need to fill in all of these cells. So we have Michael. Michael's in first place, so he gets 4 points. So we're going to, but there's 10 people who voted him first. So we're going to go 10 times 4, which is 40. Then we're going to move down to Jim. Jim is in second place and he gets 3 points. There's 10 people that voted him this way, so we're going to go 10 times 3, which is 30. Pam is in third place, so she gets 2 points. There's 10 people that voted her in this place, so we're going to go 10 times 2, which is 20. And then lastly, there's Dwight, and he's in last place, so he's going to get 1 point, but there's 10 people who voted him in last place, so we're going to go 10 times 1 equals 10. So we're done with that column. 3 more columns to go. Pam's in first place. There's 8 people that voted her that way, so we're going to go 8 times 4, which is 32. Michael is in second place, so he gets 3 points. So we're going to go 8 times 3, which is 24. Jim is in third place, so he gets 2 points. We're going to go 8 times 2, which is 16. Dwight, he's in last place again, so he gets 1 point, and there's 8 people who voted him last, so 8 times 1, which is 8. And we're just going to move on here. Jim's in first place, so he gets 4 points. There's 4 people that voted him there, so 4 times 4, which is 16. Pam's in second, so we're going to go 4 times 3, which is 12. Michael's in third place, so we're going to go 4 times 2, which is 8. And Dwight is in last place, so we're going to go 4 times 1. 4 times 1, which is 4 points. And this last column, Michael's in first place, and there's only one person that voted this way, so it's just going to be 4 times 1 equals 4. We have, 1 times 3, which is 3. 1 times 2, which is 2. And 1 times 1, which is 1. So now we have multiplied the number of points by the number of votes for each place. We've done that. Now it's time to go on to the third step. The points are added up for each candidate. So we're going to go ahead and do that for Dwight. We're going to add up all. I'm going to move this down. So Dwight, I'm just going to add up all of the points. So Dwight has 56 points here. I like to sometimes just cross it out just to make sure that I don't leave anything out. Dwight has 10 there. He has 8 here, 4 here, and 1 point here. And when we add all those up, that is a total of 79 points. Then the next one is, let's go with Jim. So Jim has 42 points, plus he's got 30 here, plus 16, plus another 16, plus 2, for a total of 106 points. Let's move down to Michael. Michael has 28 points here, and then he has 40, 24, he has 8 right there, and then lastly 4 up there in the last column, which is a total of 104 points. And then finally there's Pam. Pam has 14 points. She has 20 here. She has 32, 12, and 3, for a total of 81 points. Now after we have added up all the points for each candidate, we just have to do the last step, is that whoever has the most points wins. And if we see here, it is obvious that Jim has the most points. So Jim is the winner under the Borda count method. The one thing I like to do about crossing all of the cells out, now I know that I haven't missed any numbers. I know that every single cell number is accounted for here. If there's just one number that you happen to miss, that can throw off everything, and then you'd have to do the whole problem would be wrong. You have to do it again. So it's just one little thing I like to do to make sure that every single number is accounted for. So we know that Jim wins under the Borda count method. The next thing we need to do is find the complete ranking. So who is first, who is second, who is third, and who is fourth? So obviously Jim won, so Jim is first. Second would just be the next highest point total, which would be 104, which would be Michael. Third would be Pam. And fourth would be Dwight. And how we would write our answer would just be the first letter of each candidate's name. So J, M, P, and D. That would be the complete ranking of this preference schedule under the Borda count method.